Join me as I dive into the chilling stories of women who've crossed the line into true crime, and I'll try to uncover what drives them to the dark side. When we think of true crime, our minds often wander to the sinister and brutal acts committed by men. But what about the women who have also walked down that dark path? It's time to explore the often overlooked reality of women who commit crimes and the societal perceptions that surround them. There's a certain stigma that comes with being a female offender. We often see them as the victims, not the perpetrators. But what happens when a woman takes a life or commits a heinous act that goes against everything we associate with femininity? The media loves to sensationalize these cases, capitalizing on the shock value of a woman behaving in ways that defy traditional gender norms. But beneath the surface, there are complex psychological and emotional factors at play that we can't simply brush off as an anomaly. We're quick to label these women as cold-blooded or heartless, but what about the societal pressures that led them to that point? The need for validation, the desire for control, or the cry for help that went unheard. All these factors play a significant role in shaping their actions. It's easy to demonize them, but can we truly say we understand what drove them to commit such atrocities? When we look at the narrative surrounding female offenders, it's clear that we're missing a crucial piece of the puzzle: empathy. We're so focused on the crime itself that we forget to humanize the person behind it. By doing so, we fail to address the underlying issues that led to their downfall, and we miss an opportunity to learn from their stories. Take, for instance, the case of Karla Homolka, who, alongside her boyfriend, Paul Bernardo, committed a string of brutal murders in the 1990s. On the surface, it seems like a clear-cut case of evil incarnate, but as we delve deeper, we find a complex web of psychological manipulation, familial dysfunction, and a desperate need for validation. Homolka's story serves as a stark reminder that female criminals are not one-dimensional monsters, but rather multi-dimensional human beings driven by a mix of motivations. Another case that highlights the complexities of female criminality is that of Eileen Wuornos, the American serial killer who was executed in 2002. Wuornos' story is a tragic tale of abuse, neglect, and a desperate cry for help that went unheeded. Her crimes were brutal, but they were also a symptom of a system that failed her time and time again. As we explore her story, we're forced to confront the harsh realities of a society that turns a blind eye to the vulnerable. As we examine these cases, we're left with more questions than answers. What drives a woman to commit such heinous acts? Is it an innate evil or a product of their environment? The truth lies somewhere in between, and it's only by exploring the complexities of female criminality that we can begin to understand the dark side of true crime. One case that still haunts me to this day is that of Andrea Yates, the Texas mother who drowned her 5 children in 2001. On the surface, it seems like an unforgivable act, but as we delve deeper into her story, we find a woman struggling with severe postpartum depression, a controlling husband, and a system that failed to provide her with the help she so desperately needed. Yates's case is a stark reminder that the line between right and wrong is often blurred, and it's only by exploring the emotional and psychological aspects of her story that we can begin to understand the motivations behind her actions. As we explore these cases, we're forced to confront our own biases and assumptions about female criminality. We're forced to acknowledge that the truth is often messy, complicated, and uncomfortable. But it's only by facing these realities head-on that we can begin to understand the darker motivations behind women's crimes and start to challenge our traditional views of female behavior. In conclusion, the stories of women who commit crimes are complex, multifaceted, and often uncomfortable to confront. But it's only by exploring the darker side of true crime that we can begin to understand the intricacies of human behavior and start to break down the stigmas that surround female criminality. What are your thoughts on women in true crime? Do you think we're quick to judge them? Or do you believe we're starting to make progress in understanding their motivations? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to explore more cases of female criminality, check out my video on the most shocking cases of female serial killers.